Hello and welcome to my Warhammer 40k presentation. Warhammer is a tabletop role-playing game where you get a bunch of little figures to create an army, and then you fight other people with their armies. There's a bunch of rules and you determine who wins through a tactical war game. It is futuristic. It is set in the 41st century. And Warhammer 40k is not to be confused with regular Warhammer, which is high fantasy. Yep, that's it. Let's just get started with the first slide. Yes, the Emperor of Mankind, aka the God Emperor. No one knows his real name, but we do know what he looks like. Now, you may not know that the person in the middle image is the same person that can be seen in the image on the left. Eventually, he gets so old because he's just a human, Emperor of Mankind, that he requires the use of that weird technological chair to sustain himself. So he is bound forever on that chair as a leader. So that's how he remains in power. But everyone thinks he still looks like the middle image, even though he's much worse off. Now you might be thinking, how did he get to become the Emperor of Mankind, aka the God Emperor? Well, you see, he defeated the guy that was God Emperor before, which can be seen on the image on the right. That's how his rule started. He led his army to defeat the army of, we're going to call him Braius. And all of God Emperor Braius's troops submit to this guy after Braius was killed. And it was tragic. But it was for the betterment of mankind. Next slide. Vashtor the Archiphane, a greater demon who rules over the Forge of Souls. Now, Vashtor is... he may look like a bad guy, but he's actually a good guy. So remember that chair that the God Emperor was sitting on that was sustaining his life? That actually runs on soul power. And it's nasty business and not known to the general public. Vashtor actually has to acquire souls to keep the God Emperor alive. He used to be a bad guy, but after realizing that soul power could be used for the service of the God Emperor, he switched to join the human empire to make technology that runs on souls. Reboot Gilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines. Ultramarines are the top tier army in service of the human empire. And Reboot is the biggest captain. He serves as a general figure. He acquired this status through years of dedication and loyalty and success on the battlefield. He has the best sword. He has the best armor. You can tell because it's more gold, which gives it more magic. And you can see through the little head crest design with the green leaf and the spikes in the back, that has a little glow, and that's because it's also being powered by soul power, so his armor's even better than the rest. He's a tough guy, he's a good man, and he knows the truth about the God Emperor's current physical appearance, but believes that keeping this secret is worthwhile for the good of the Empire. The emissary Ivrain of the Aeldari. Ivrain is not an ally to the Empire. She is, at least from the perspective of the armies of mankind, a villain. She also uses soul power, as can be seen through the energy trails off her blade there. She uses it to serve herself. She is not a human, but of the same tier of creature, so she's not a higher being, but she is, you would equate her to like an elf or something. She lives for a very long time. She has Fey-like powers, as can be seen through her animal companion, Boris, the green feline creature. And what she wants to do, she's sort of a free agent, so when battles start up between warring armies, she will go into the middle of the fray and then exploit the battle for her own good, either reaping the souls that are killed by soldiers or taking them herself through her blade. Yeah, we'll stick with that. Angron, Primarch of the World Eaters. Primarchs are clearly the high captains of their corresponding armies. So as a Primarch, Angron is a more nefarious equivalent to Roboot. The World Eaters, it's pretty straightforward. Instead of running on soul power, they work on... they sustain their armies through conquering worlds and then harvesting the cores of those worlds to exist, which is not a great long-term strategy. Fortunately, the galaxy is very big, but it does require them to consistently conquer things. Angron is very good at eating worlds. He's very hungry a lot of the time. Even when he should be full, he keeps eating, which makes him want to keep fighting. He's very good at it, and he's not very nice. Okay, Sebastian Yarrick, hero of Hades' Hive and a commissar of the Officio Perfectus. Okay, that's a lot of words. Man, okay. Sebastian, we like to call him Seb. So Seb, as a commissar, he is... boy, I don't know what that word means. It sounds like commission. So he is we will say that means like he is a private actor. So he is the head of his own sort of tactical squad, which it can be used for hire by other factions. Officio Perfectus can be bought out, and therefore has been working for many factions over the course of the group's existence. Seb here is the leader. He is loyal to the job, but does not necessarily believe in any of the other factions' causes. You know, at the end of the day, he's trying to make some money, trying to get himself into better positions of power, which means he should stay in your good books provided you can continually supply him with what he wants. He is considered a hero of Hades' Hive because he did kill a bunch of bugs from Hell. Hellbugs are a different faction not associated with the Empire or the World Eaters. Hellbugs, actual demonic entities. We're gonna move on. Okay, yes, this guy, Azrael, Chapter Master of the Dark Angels. Okay. They just keep adding groups, huh? Okay, so middle image, first and foremost, we can see that little demonic creature, that's a Hellbug. That's what they look like. I'm establishing that now. The Dark Angels are a subset of Space Marines under the Empire. Now, usually they look blue. Space Marines. That's the armor that they wear. But you can tell they're of the similar. They're from the same faction because the armor looks similar. But the Dark Angels are a sort of more specialized tactical unit to deal with demonic entities, including the Hellbugs. I think I called them Hellbugs. Azrael is a chapter master, which means he's the head of the Dark Angels, but he's not a Primarch status like Bidurf and the World Eater guy, which I definitely remember the name of. He carries a banner which inspires people in battle. It also has magical properties derived from soul energy. It looks pretty cool. You know, what Warhammer 40k is so good at is that every character of importance has a lot of words attached to them. They have a lot of subtitles, a lot of descriptives, which is useful when you know what they mean. And I do, as I'm about to elaborate on. Trazyn the Infinite and Oricon the Diviner, these are two different guys, great. Two Necron overlords of different dynasties. Okay. Great. It doesn't list them, but that's okay because I know what the dynasties are. There's the Dark Dynasty of Mars and the Dark Dynasty of Pluto. Yeah, Trazyn the Infinite belongs to the Dark Dynasty of Mars, and Oricon the Diviner belongs to the Dark Dynasty of Pluto. They derive from one original, fully completed and unified Dark Dynasty, but their predecessors had a falling out a long time ago, which is why the faction split into two. They have different beliefs on what they should use their dark energy powers for. Oricon the Diviner wants to take a more strict religious approach. He's big on the traditions of the original complete Dark Dynasty, but Trazyn the Infinite is less worried about that, and is more interested in first and foremost the survival of his species and the elimination of anyone that is not a Necron. And a Necron is sort of like they are robotic, but there is like an alien form beneath their shell. So they're actually kind of tiny little pink alien creatures within the metal forms, but you would never see a Necron outside of their armor. Boy, this just keeps going. Lucius the Eternal of the Emperor's Children. So thinking back to the Emperor, if you recall, we established that after many decades of ruling, he's not in the best physical shape, and being replenished by the demon's soul power, one could be seen as undead powers. As an imperial ritual, the Emperor needs to keep having children, which is unfortunate when he looks like that. So when they procreate, the children tend to come out looking a little bit like that. Lucius the Eternal is one of these undead abomination children. Unfortunately, he has always looked like that, but he can't be killed, hence Eternal. Not necessarily a leader, in the same way that Azrael is to the Dark Angels, but he's more like a magically controlled golem that does the bidding of whoever's in charge of whoever effectively holds his spellbook at the time. He's a force to be reckoned with, and a very difficult problem to deal with because he can't die. Oh, okay. Chasseur Viola Shova Kais Montier, Commander Farsight, Renegade Tau Commander. Boy, okay. So they do mechas now. Alright, that's awesome. Okay, so Chasseur Viola Shova Kais Montier. We like to call him Monty. Monty is a commander amongst his group called the Renegade Tau. I'm gonna say that's Tau. He's a commander amongst the Renegade Tau, which are not Imperial, and they're not World Eaters, and they're not demonic. They are a different faction again. So instead of getting big burly men into giant suits, they'll get little baby men, little tiny weak men into, but very smart men into these mech robots. And Monty is the commander of a tactical group amongst the Renegade Tau. Unfortunately, they spend a lot of their life stuck in the suit, because once you get in the suit and you're hooked up to the suit, it's kind of hard to get out. So existence is terrible for Monty, but he's really good at killing and takes out a lot of his anger for being stuck in the suit onto the enemies in front of him. So violence is therapy for Monty. Okay, the 4 Chaos Gods. Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Alright, so, 4 Chaos Gods. First thing you're probably asking, why are there 4? Why would there be 4 Gods of Chaos? Shouldn't they have their own domains? Well, they do and they don't. So originally, these 4 Gods of Chaos were 4 Gods of Order. They're in different corners of the galaxy, and they didn't really know about each other. They had their own peoples, their own traditions that were followed by those people in service of each individual god. And there were no issues. But then, as galactic travel expanded, the people in service of each god came to learn about the other factions. And then that resulted in the gods learning about each other, and they didn't like that. So they had a big 4-way fight, and which they all got messed up psychologically, spiritually, and physically. Which is why most of them look real weird. And the 4 Gods of Order became the 4 Gods of Chaos. Now, Khorne, the red one, has dominion in Hell. Tzeentch, blue one, has dominion in the Abyss. Nurgle has dominion of the Eldritch Swamps. And Slaanesh has control over majority of the dark parts of the Fey realm. Is that it? Oh, thank you. Okay, so that ends my presentation. I hope you learned something. If you have any more questions about intricate Warhammer 40k lore, leave your questions in the comments. I'll be sure to answer them. Fully informed, 100% accurate. Thank you for watching. I'm glad this is over.